Recently, I came across a Reddit article about this kid who was applying to university and felt extremely stressed about it. He claimed that he wasn't able to sleep, that he was getting recurring nightmares, and I initially brushed it off as a one-off thing, but these kinds of Reddit posts started actually popping up everywhere in my feed. So that's when I decided to do some research about this, and boy, did I realize this is a big problem. I came across this one research article that stated that 74% of students applying to either college or master's programs feel the stress of applications. I also read that in another article that 1 out of 8 students actually is thinking about dropping college altogether because of the application related stress. So in this video, I want to talk about the stress that you feel when you're applying for your undergrad, master's or MBA programs abroad. Hi, my name is Amya. I'm a study abroad counselor and I've guided hundreds of students to top ranked universities across the world. I also make YouTube videos to help students make the right career choices and study abroad related decisions. So if you haven't already, please do subscribe to the channel. It will be a win-win for the both of us. Okay, so let's back up a bit. I first want to explain what stress is, why it evolved, and why it's actually useful to us in some cases. So you see, stress evolved as a survival mechanism hundreds of thousands of years ago. When we were being chased by lions or tigers, when we had to get shelter from the natural elements, stress played a key role in helping to save us. Every time we are faced with danger, our body secretes two different kinds of chemicals, cortisol and adrenaline. The secretion of these hormones is actually what causes stress. But at the same time, they also make us more focused. They make the muscles more stiff, helping us get away from whatever danger we're facing. And they heighten our reaction, our reflexes. Now, the problem is that your brain has not evolved much from that time. And it cannot differentiate between the real threat of a tiger chasing you and a non-life threatening deadline chasing you. Now, the issue is that the application season does not last for a few minutes or hours, it actually lasts for a few months. And that is where stress actually becomes a problem. Now, there are 3 sources of stress that you actually feel in the application season. The first source of stress is the uncertainty that is involved with the application process itself. None of us know whether we are going to get into any particular university that we want to, and this is a major cause of stress. The second reason of stress is actually comparison. When you're applying to universities abroad, you're looking at Reddit posts of students with perfect profiles, you're looking at your friends who are posting their perfect GRE, GMAT or SAT scores, and suddenly your own application starts feeling very weak. Then the third reason of stress is the sheer volume of work that you need to do. LORs, SOPs, shortlisting universities, deciding the countries and the programs. It is a lot of work. And it's not as if the rest of your life stops while all of this is going on. So the sheer volume of work combined with the comparison that takes place, as well as the uncertainty of whether you're going to get an admit or not, is what causes stress during the application season. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to explain 6 tips that are guaranteed to help you reduce the amount of stress that you feel in the application process. The first tip is to start early. Now I know this sounds cliche, but it definitely helps. Starting 12 to 18 months before your application deadlines actually helps reduce stress because it allows you to do 2 things. First, you can check at leisure the requirements of the university and build your profile accordingly, thereby reducing some of the uncertainty involved with university admits. Second thing is that you spread the same amount of work over a longer duration of time, which basically reduces the amount of times you feel overwhelmed during the process. So this is the first thing. The second thing that you need to do is to build micro certainties. Now look, none of us can guarantee whether you will get admitted to your dream university or not. And like I said before, that's a major cause of stress. But what you can do is you can build down the entire process into small milestones, assign deadlines, and start completing those milestones. Every time you complete a milestone, it releases another hormone in your body called dopamine, which is the opposite of cortisol and adrenaline. It basically calms you down and relaxes you. So if you keep doing these small milestones and keep hitting your deadlines, you will feel more relaxed and less stressed. The next thing is to create an external brain. Creating micro certainties through milestones only work if your brain does not have to keep track of all your deadlines. Like I said, there are several stages to the application process and there are many sub stages or sub steps to every stage. So what you need to do is you need to choose any tool of your choice. It could be an Excel sheet, it could be a Google sheet, it could be a Notion tracker, and get all your milestones and deadlines into that tool. So when your brain doesn't have to track deadlines, it frees up space to process information, which means you'll be making better decisions with clarity, reducing the amount of stress that you feel. The next thing that you need to do to reduce stress is to reduce the amount of decision fatigue that you feel. Now, you can't reduce the number of decisions that you take throughout the application process. Which universities to apply to, which programs to apply to, which countries to consider. There are several things that you need to decide, right? You can't reduce that, but you can reduce the amount of fatigue that you feel because of these decisions. And I have two specific interventions that I think can actually help you with this. So the first thing is to only work on applications during the weekends in the mornings when your mind is fresh. Think about it. Most students actually work on their applications on weekdays after college, or if you're a working professional, you would work on them after you come back from work. But that's not the ideal time to work on your applications because your brain is already tired. So if you come back from college or work and you think that you're going to be able to write your SOP in 2 hours, that's not going to happen because your brain is already tired. It's only going to add to a sense of frustration and overwhelm. Instead, keep all your application work over the weekends where you're not thinking about college, high school, or work. So your mind is fresh at that time, you make better decisions and feel less stressed. The other thing that you can do to reduce your decision fatigue is to delay making the decision as much as possible. So for example, I see a lot of students stressing on early in the process about which country to apply to. And my advice to them always is that if you're confused between 2 or 3 different countries, why not pick a few universities out of all of these countries, apply to all of them, and then finally decide which country you will go to based on the geopolitical climate at that time, based on the scholarship that you get, based on the quality of the university, as well as the fit of the program. So delaying decisions is actually going to reduce the amount of fatigue that you feel early on in the process and is actually going to keep you motivated. The fifth thing that you can do to reduce the amount of stress that you feel is to limit your information diet. I know that all of us want validation as to what we're doing, whether it's correct or not, and this leads us to go to different Reddit posts, to see YouTube videos of different content creators, or to watch news. But the thing with online platforms is that negative news travels much faster than positive news. And so you can find out negative news about any university, program, or country that you made a decision on. So you might think that you're keeping yourself informed by going to online media and keeping yourself appraised, but it's actually going to increase the amount of stress that you feel because you're only going to see negative things. So my recommendation here is to limit your online diet to once every 2 weeks and to follow content creators or people who you know are authentic or are unbiased. Now, the final thing that you can do to reduce your stress is to do only one thing at a time. Again, there are more than 10 things that you need to do in the whole application process. And the worst way for you to basically go about the process is to do multiple things at once. So if you are trying to reach out to recommenders at the same time as doing your statement of purpose while you're shortlisting universities, you're going to feel very stressed. Rather, what you should do is you should do one thing at a time. First shortlist universities, then reach out to recommenders and write those, then perfect your resume, then write your SOP, or in any other order that you may choose. Now, you might say that, okay, isn't this going to slow me down? But it's actually the opposite. When you do one thing at a time, you're able to make faster decisions, your quality of work improves, and your brain feels less stressed out. So those were 6 things that I believe can actually help you reduce your application stress. And remember that if you don't get into your dream university, it's not the end of life. I know that society likes to reinforce this myth that you can only do well in life by getting into top ranked universities. But I know millions of people who actually did well by going into average or what you would call mediocre universities. It's not about the name of the degree that you get, it's about what you do with the opportunities that are presented to you. So in the long run, things such as your skill, the quality of work that you do, and your own resilience will matter much more than which university you graduated from. And these are qualities which, by the way, you're already building by just going through the application process. Remember, the goal is not to get into a dream university, it's to build a dream life, and there are many paths to do that. So if you found this video useful, do like and share it with others. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.